US is already experiencing the damage because of tariffs. Already inflation is rising in US. Already job losses are rising in US. Already there's a compromise as far as GDP growth is concerned in US. Already US is finding it tough to reduce the rates of interest, which is very, very pertinent for US. Already protests are happening in US against these tariffs. So already US is feeling the heat. They have realized that these tariffs are not maintainable and sustainable. Because what's happening is, whom have they imposed the tariffs on? They have imposed the tariffs on their own importer. So what it means is, anything which the American citizens were consuming, which was being imported from India, that would be costlier. So inflation for their own citizens has increased, and inflation is something which US has been fighting tooth and nail for the past 3 to 4 years since the onset of Russia-Ukraine war. Job losses is something which US can't afford, because US, though they may be the biggest economy, though they may be the most powerful economy, but that economy is clearly facing a slowdown. US is an economy which is facing slowdown. Now, US, I think if you see the track record, the tariffs they have announced and actually implemented, there's a huge difference. So according to my opinion, ultimately, there's expected to what I expect is there's going to be a U-turn. Perhaps these tariffs may be kept in abeyance. They may be suspended as what US has been doing, because these tariffs are negatively impacting US economy. Indian economy, yes, for short term, we also have been negatively impacted. But in the medium term, Indian economy, which is the fastest growing economy amongst major economies, is not going to be impacted. US is not going to survive these tariffs. There's going to be a U-turn. That's what my expectation is. It's clearly an opportunity for us to diversify our exports. As far as tackling this is concerned, India has already started preparing. In fact, earlier also, 1 month, 45 days also, earlier also, we have started preparing for it in anticipation. India is having tie-ups with many countries. We just had a tie-up with UK. We had just had a tie-up with 4 European nations. Plus, our business with China, Russia, and Japan is going to increase. Russia, India, China, this cooperation is definitely going to be now much, much stronger. Plus, China shares a huge border with us, so logistics-wise, doing business with China suits us. Of course, there have been border issues and some other issues where we are not happy with China, but still, logistics-wise, it suits us doing business with China. So, number one, we have already diversified our exports. Number two, the Russia, India, China tie-up is going to, informal tie-up, I would say, definitely going to boost India's trade. Thirdly, what we have done is, since our domestic demand is very strong, we are in the process of reducing our GST slabs from 4 to 2. What would happen is, since India is a price-sensitive economy, the moment prices fall here, purchasers, customers would throng in to buy. So consumption, the domestic demand, which is our strength, is going to increase. That's how our GDP is going to increase. That's how our employment opportunities are going to increase. Our income tax numbers are going to increase. We may be reducing the rate of GST, but GST collection is going to boom because numbers would increase, sales would increase. So India is not going to have much impact. Yes, short-term psychological impact would be there, but that would be much more compensated by our exports being more diversified, by our tie-ups with other countries, a strong domestic demand. Plus, we have a brilliant government which has already shown to the world in the past 5 years of global slowdown. This Narendra Modi government, I would salute Narendra Modi's government. They've shown to the world that how India can be the fastest growing economy amongst major economies during post-corona 5 years of slowdown. Post-corona, post-start of Russia-Ukraine war, India always has been the fastest growing economy amongst major economies. So our current government, this government knows how to tackle crisis, and they have come successful out of this crisis. My prediction is these tariffs are going to be reversed after some time, and by that time, India would have diversified its export So it will turn out to be an opportunity rather for India, seeing our entrepreneurship, seeing our government, which is very positive and supportive, which has grown the economy, which helps our businessmen, which understand global economy, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi Saab, who enjoys respect not only in India but throughout the world. He has clearly demonstrated the ability of captaining Indian economy through the toughest of times, and that's going to be exhibited again. Now, to give you specific numbers, my expectation, my prediction is that our GDP growth initially, for short term, for one quarter, may reduce by 0.3 or 0.4%. But because of our diversification, because of our tie-ups with other countries, because of our potential tie-ups, because of our tie-ups, because of our increased business potential with China, Russia, Japan, and other countries, I think within second quarter from this, we are going to make up on that. So ultimately, if you want the specific numbers, by fourth quarter, that is fourth quarter of 25-26, that is 1st January to 31st March, there we would have neutralized the impact. So this impact would be for this quarter, but by that quarter, January to March 2026, we would have neutralized the impact. Rather, what I expect is that there could be a GDP growth because domestic consumption is going to boost, because of the way we have marvelously planned to reduce our GST slabs. So according to me, this ultimately is not going to last beyond December, because we shouldn't forget, after just 1.5 months, we are going to have a great Indian demand exhibition. We are going to have Navratri, Durga Puja, and that post Diwali, and then Diwali, which is a huge consumption driver in India. So we have already seen a consumption boom through the months where we don't see that much consumption, like April, May, June. April, we had a robust GST collection of 2.36 lakh crore. Diwali month, our GST collection, though we may reduce rates, would be higher than 2.5 lakh crore. That sort of demand India is going to generate domestically.